Hello and welcome back to the bathroom. All the plasterboard is up.
You see? Oh my God, we're experts at this.
Said nobody. All right, let's see how good you are at measuring. It's looking pretty good.
No, it's a little bit too...
That one's too low. We had it right the first time. All the plastering is done. Now I just have to remember how plastering works. Oops. And the next step is waterproofing. And so that's what we're going to do in this video, so that hopefully we can get some tiles on soon, and then hopefully we can have an indoor shower before the weather turns and it gets a bit cold to be showering outside. We've got a whole load of materials, we've got a whole load of tools, we've got a whole load of things to do. We're just going to get started and we'll explain what we do as we go, and perhaps for a slightly more technical explanation of all the different parts and things and where we got them from, stick around to the end and we'll explain some of that too.
Alright, I'm going to take that advertising off.
Yeah, not sponsored. So one of the first things I wanted to see is how flexible it is in terms of doing like cornery things. Get it. Yeah, I know. I'm also explaining to the lovely people. Oh, bloody glue all over it.
Or is it just stuck to itself?
Oh, I hope not. Yeah, it has kind of stuck to itself. That's a bit rubbish. Oh no, I think that's right. There we go. We'll just cut it out.
Yes.
It's just that endy bit that's no good.
They've taped it,
but
they've stuck it to
they've
itself.
given us an extra piece for that very reason, I'm sure. Okay, yeah, it's pretty flexible.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. Why would you want to roll it out that way? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because it sticks to the wall better that way, otherwise it's going to come flipping out.
Okay. Well, you know what you're doing apparently. I thought I knew what I was doing because I watched a load of YouTube videos, which means I'm essentially an expert.
Right, hold it in the bottom corner down there. And the guy suggested where it meets a wall or something is to do a fold.
You can like score it. So I've got a like a big fat putty knife that we can use.
Well, I was just gonna
you can put
fold it along the line.
Okay, yeah, do that. And when we attach it, it's I think we've got it upside down at the moment. So this is the back, this is the front.
And then this fold will be in the wrong direction. Again. Just come up a tiny bit.
It's not really holding the fold.
No, so I think we should cut it.
You want to cut it there?
Yeah, it will be much easier.
Okay. This is the thing that they never show you on those professional install videos that last 3.5 minutes.
Right, hold that.
Yep. It is nice that it's got lines on it though, isn't it?
Yeah, that
really
definitely
helps.
Right, let's just do a test fit now that it's cut. Here's where I need my craft table. I could just roll it out and...
Well, first you need a craft room, or just any room to put a craft table in.
I mean, we could not put a shower and just have this as my craft room.
I'm thinking about putting a mattress in here and moving in. We have a nice ensuite.
All right, take it down.
Sorry, you got it?
Yep. So I'm just undercutting it by half a box.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. We'll start with 6. It's very different to the kind of stuff we're normally mixing. That looks about right for what we're doing. Should be stiffer for the tiling, but I'll let it sit for a bit and see if it stiffens up, because that's about where I want it. So this adhesive is called Kerdi, and we came across it completely by chance. I went to one shop to buy a Weber product, which they didn't have, so I thought, oh, I'll try somewhere else. And when I was there, I was chatting to the guy, and he said, we do have some Weber stuff. We don't have the thing that you're asking for, but we've got this, which is cheaper and better. And I started having a look at the bag. Fortunately, it was in Portuguese and English, so I could kind of look at both. And it turns out they're an Italian company that recently became a certified B Corp. The product is made from lots of local minerals. From the reading I did, apparently it contains no Portland cement whatsoever. I don't really know what it contains. I imagine it's a very secretive recipe, but it's got something called gel technology, which basically sounds like it's nice and easy to work with, spreads really smooth, but still holds a notch really well when you trowel it on. So I'm really looking forward to playing around with it. The other cool thing that they've got is a whole range of coloured grouts and matching silicons. So they have 35 different colours available here in Portugal. So we were able to choose something that we think is going to look really nice with the tiles that we've chosen. Anyway, we have to wait for a future episode for the tiles and the big reveal of what that's all going to look like. But hopefully we can get the waterproofing done on the wall and on the floor this afternoon.
I think we can wipe down the whole wall so that we can...
No, I think we'll just do it in stages, because otherwise it will dry out too much.
Yeah, but it's not about drying out, it's just about wiping off the dust, isn't it?
No, it's about giving it a bit like when we spray the plaster down before we go over it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, it's not to be wet, but it's to be...
Bondable.
Yeah, a damp sponge. I mean, I'm just regurgitating information that I watched on the internet, but...
That's what everyone does, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Would you like a kneeler or a knee pad?
Yeah, maybe a kneeler,
something?
maybe knee pads. Yeah, we got those somewhere.
Yep. I'm just coming, I'm just going to sit here. It's a bit like icing a cake, it's actually really nice and smooth.
Nice and what? Thin?
Smooth.
Yeah, it's really smooth. I mean, so much smoother than hemp plaster. We should have just done this. Plasterboard and like thin set over the top.
No.
No? Okay.
What would we call it? We wouldn't call it a thin set. Adhesive.
Sorry. Tile adhesive is what we call it in the UK.
Yeah.
But a lot of the content out there is...
I don't even know what we call it in Australia. People, what do we call it in Australia? Yep.
I think I've got plasterer's perfectionism for something that's going to get covered up.
All right, let's stick it on.
Is this going to be in the way here? Probably.
I'm going straight on, but
You're going
around
straight
my
on.
circle.
Okay, okay.
And then once that's on,
I'll squeeze it out.
so is it all the way from the bottom to the top or from the middle up?
From the middle out. So from the
Okay,
middle up and the
then
middle down.
Okay. Given the squeeze out, I don't see how we haven't got it done.
No, I think it's great. I think the trick is that we're trying to get all of the air out of it.
Yeah.
So we've got all the wall bits done. And it's taken a lot longer than we expected, which is, I guess, we should have expected that. But we've got a few cornery bits to do now. So along with this roll of membrane, there is also a small thin roll of these strips. Let me tell you, this is a very messy job. I think partly because we've not done it before, but also because this mortar is quite runny. So the cool thing about this system is as long as you've got a 5 centimeter overlap or 50 mil overlap with this membrane stuff, you are waterproof. It doesn't have to be like one piece goes over a certain piece like roof tiles or something like that. It can just be, as long as you've got coverage over everything. It's kind of cool. Then we also have these pre-formed corner bits to do the corners. You can just overlap the stuff, but since they make these things and I could get hold of them, I thought we'd use them. I just cleaned this floor the other day. This is also why we will be tiling the walls first. That's pretty easy with scissors, eh?
You can't see it once it's...
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It doesn't have to be super precise because we're all silicone around it. Should work. It's a very clever thing, but it's a bit of a pain to install.
It's pain to
and it looks so easy in the videos. Not in this one, obviously. One last piece. That's good news.
Right, do you want to start here where I've kind of wet it?
Yeah, I can.
These are thirsty floors, isn't
It is thirsty, yes. Okay. Oh.
To the wall, you've got a bit of flex on this one. Right to here. Or do I need, no, I need to go to my side.
Okay.
Tell me about the wall, your wall.
The wall is fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Too close? No.
No, it's fine. Good morning. It is the next day. After a very late night finish. I think it was about 9:30 p.m. when we wrapped up all of the cleanup in the dark outside, but we're done. The bathroom is waterproofed. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we'll give you a quick overview of what the system is and what the two different parts are, and then maybe we'll wrap up with some final thoughts. But one thought for sure is this stuff is simple, but definitely not easy. And maybe we'll expand on some of that a little bit later on. Anyway, this waterproofing system is made in Germany. It's called Schluter. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And we've got two different products at play. The one on the wall is called Kerdi, and it's a waterproofing membrane. It's some kind of plastic with a fleece backing to it. And as you saw earlier, we've got a few accessories that go with that as well. There's like a band or a tape that goes in the corners and all the joins to all the walls and the floors. And then there's also those pre-formed corners as well, internal corners and external corners. The idea is that you get it all over any wet areas with an overlap of 5 centimeters to make sure there is no chance of any water related issues. So that's the stuff on the wall. It's called Kerdi. They also make like a hard board as well, but we weren't able to get hold of that here in Portugal. The product on the floor is called Deitra, and it's very similar to the thing on the wall. It's a waterproof membrane, but it's got this square pattern to it, and it's actually designed as a decoupling membrane. So it's really good for underfloor heating. It's also really good for floors where there may be a bit of movement, so it prevents the tiles from cracking. We're also using a really flexible adhesive, one that's suitable for underfloor heating, so hopefully we don't have any issues with any of that down the line. We got all this stuff from an online store in Portugal called Brico Butikk. I'll put a link in the description in case you're looking for something like this. As you may have noticed, we are not experts at installing this stuff. We're not professional tilers, but if you have any questions, we'll do our best to help you out and answer them based on the experience that we've had with this over the last day or so. But yeah, there we go. So what are your thoughts, my love?
I think one of the things is preparation is key. So cutting all the pieces in advance, we numbered them all, had them all already worked out in our heads, the order to lay them. I think that really helps because when you've started sticking adhesive on the wall, the last thing you want is like, oh, which piece goes where? Oh, I need to cut it to size. The other thing is, as is usual with us, because we've never done this before, you learn as you go along, A, how to do it better and faster, and B, how the system actually works. And so our last 2 pieces here are really good, or the best of the lot, let's say. There's definitely some imperfections on the previous, like the first couple of pieces we put up, but it's fine, it's waterproof, it's good enough. Would I use it again? I don't know. I mean, I think a paint-on membrane would be just a lot easier, and they do exist here in Portugal. But we wanted this floor system, so we then went for the wall system with it. It's
fiddly.
But it's on, which means it unlocks being able to tile, which we're very excited about. And it's much more involved than we thought. We were like, yeah, just slap a few things on the wall. It's quite physical. We were both aching this morning.
Well, it was a long day. It was like 8 hours of slapping things on the wall and the floor.
It took a lot longer than we were expected. And that's the whole thing. In concept, it's really simple. In practice, it's not that easy.
So we are very happy that it's done. We're fairly happy with the result, but I think next time we do it in the other building, we'll probably do a better job because, you know, it's all about experience. I think something that did cause us a few more problems than we needed was the trowel that we used. We struggled to get hold of the materials, but something that was even more difficult than that was finding the right size notch trowel. So we ended up using a slightly larger notch trowel than is recommended, and I think we ended up using more adhesive than we needed to, and there are a couple of lumps and bumps and stuff like that. But we did get good coverage. We peeled the membrane back a couple of times to make sure that everything was full contact with the wall. And so whilst it maybe made our life a little bit more difficult than it could have been, I think the result is going to be fine, which is good. And that's really the important thing. Anyway, like we said, we're pleased that it's done, and then we can move on to something else. So in the next renovation video, we're going to be laying some tiles. They've arrived, they're downstairs, they look beautiful.
They're heavy.
They're heavy. Well, one of them is heavy, one of them is not. We're really looking forward to getting them installed. So do join us in the next episode. We will see you then. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.